And I'm going to say this respectfully to people like Matt Walsh, who extended an olive branch, it seems. I'm going to say this respectfully because I've heard Matt Walsh and Michael Knowles and their ilk. I've heard them say this, and I'm going to assume that maybe they don't know better, and I'll be respectful how I say this. You may not take an interest in Israel, but Israel takes an interest in you. Israel takes an interest in you and every American. As long as we have a voice in America, as long as we have a vote in America, as long as we Americans have a say over our lives and our society and our government and what it does with its money and its military, and as long as that is indispensable to helping this country evade accountability for its actions, they will take an interest in you and your family and what you have to say and how you vote and even what you think. So you may not care that much about Israel, and you may think that's one issue among others, and that doesn't matter, and we need to just get off that subject and talk about domestic issues, but they don't see it that way. They take an interest in you, and you must realize our country is besieged on all sides by foreign intelligence and manipulation. And in some ways, that's the only issue there is.
All right, welcome to the channel. For those of y'all that are new, thank you for clicking on the video. If you like what you hear, don't forget to subscribe on your way out. Don't forget to hit the thumbs up for me. I would love to reach 500 subscribers by the end of the month, but we're going to go ahead and get straight into it. As you see in the thumbnail, I have now branded the Daily Wire as the Daily Soy Fest because they have been exposed to be a so-called conservative media outlet that, you know, it has been a very, very successful run for the Daily Wire up until recently, up until the past year. And the gradual decline of the Daily Wire, aka the Daily Soy Fest, it can be attributed to the beginning of the decline started when Candace Owens was fired. A lot of people, you know, turn on the Daily Wire for that. Ben Shapiro has become increasingly toxic during this so-called civil war on the right between Israel first versus America first, the establishment versus America first. You know, all the stuff going on with Trump and Marjorie Taylor Greene and Thomas Massie, etc., etc. So Daily Wire has become sort of a casualty of this infighting amongst the right wing of the political party. And as you can see by the name of my channel, I am a conservative. I don't call my channel the Conservative Lion just because it sounds cool. I am actually a very conservative individual, been that way for quite some time. And I want to just talk about how the acceleration of the decline of the Daily Wire can be attributed to the firing of Candace Owens and her boldness to speak out against the Israel-Palestine war and the criticism of Ben Shapiro and Zionism and the Israel First lobby and agenda from Mr. Nick Fuentes. I'm going to play a few clips and react to them, bring a few receipts, and that'll be the end of the video, so stay tuned. So for those of us that remember the historic moment at the Daily Wire when Candace Owens was fired, it made all kind of news. It was all over the place. Candace Owens, of course, like I said, was critiquing Israel and their just outright slaughter of so many innocent women and children in the, you know, conflict that's still ongoing to this day. And just to give you guys a reminder, these are a couple of the tweets that I was able to retrieve. Candace Owens tweeted out, "Blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall be called the children of God. Blessed are they which are persecuted for righteousness' sake, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are ye when men shall revile you and persecute you, and shall all manner of evil against you falsely for my sake. No one can serve two masters. Either you will hate the one and love the other, or you will be devoted to the one and despise the other. You cannot serve both God and money." That is, of course, taken from the Bible. And Ben Shapiro's response was, "Candace, if you feel that taking money from the Daily Wire somehow comes between you and God, by all means quit." So for those of y'all that are not aware, the Daily Wire was founded by Ben Shapiro and his business partner named Jeremy Boring, who is also a Jew. And Ben Shapiro claims back then that he didn't actually fire Candace Owens because he didn't have the authority to do so. But he 100% was very, very influential and had a hand in her being fired. Because as we know, within the true America First movement, the absolute no-no on the right or the left is you're not allowed to criticize Israel. You're not allowed to criticize any of their wars. They're, corrupting so many of our federal officials and pushing forth the destruction of Gaza and getting rid of all the almost 2 million people that live there, the Palestinians. And this was I'm going to just play a short clip of Ben Shapiro being so much of a coward, he refused to even talk about letting Candace Owens go during that time period 2 years ago. Well, I think it was in 2024 last year, but you get the point.
One of the consequences of this war has been a lot of very high passions on both sides, a lot of angry disagreements. You and your company have been at the center of a very high profile one at the moment with Candace Owens, who's now left Daily Wire. Was she fired or did she leave of her own volition?
I'm not going to speak to this topic, Piers.
At all?
At all.
You can't give me any insight into why she departed?
No hints, no nothing. I'm not going to speak to this.
Can I ask why?
I mean, you can ask.
No, I'm not. You can ask why you don't want to say anything.
Again, you can ask.
I'm only curious because I know what a staunch defender of free speech you are, and it would surprise me if it had been someone's opinions that would make you want to part company with them, however contentious.
I mean, suffice it to say, the only thing I will say is what I've said all along with regard to Candace or with regard to any of our other hosts. I am not in hiring and firing position with the Daily Wire. I'm a co-founder of the Daily Wire. I'm a co-owner of the Daily Wire. I'm not actually in management. Jeremy Boring and Caleb Robinson are in management positions with regard to Candace or anyone else. And as far as the free speech situation, what I will say is that no company has the obligation to literally pay anyone. The Daily Wire is a publisher. It is not a platform. I've never called for Candace or anyone else for that matter to be banned from YouTube, to be banned from X, to be banned from any platform. That's a different story, obviously, when it comes to any publisher. Any publisher gets to make decisions about what it wishes to purvey and not.
See what I'm saying? Total coward. And he admitted, I'm a co-owner, co-founder. So you 100% had a hand in Candace Owens being fired, and he was too cowardly to speak on it with Piers Morgan. Nope, Piers, not going to say anything. Not going to talk about that. Totally not going to talk about it. You can ask, but not going to say anything. I mean, he's just a total freaking coward, dude. And don't forget he had a dust up with Tucker Carlson. Tucker Carlson, of course, right now is like public enemy number one when it comes to the pro-Israel crowd. And let me just set the record straight for a lot of people on the right that are truly America first. The overwhelming majority of people on the right that are against that are MAGA versus MIGA, we don't hate Israel. We don't hate the Jewish people. It's not about being an anti-Semite. That's just the shield they put up to try to block all criticism of Israel. We just believe that America should be the priority financially, when it comes to our military, when it comes to our foreign policy. Like, we should be focused on our country. We are struggling right now. We are in $38 trillion in debt. People are dying in record numbers from drug overdoses, suicides. We got all kind of garbage in our food. You know, the cost of living is through the roof. And it's just asinine that we're focusing on a country the size of New Jersey with around 10 million people. And they receive far more from us than we receive from them. There is no tangible benefit that the United States of America receives from all the money and all the attention and engaging in foreign military conflicts on behalf of Israel.
Ben Shapiro and Daily Wire tried to destroy an 18-year-old Nick Fuentes. Fast forward 8 years later, Candace Owens is like Django. She is off the Jewish plantation. The D is silent, Jew. Candace Owens is riding out of Nashville, fucking explosions, the whole fucking mansion's burning down. Matt Walsh and Michael Knowles, best to know, they're freaking out. Brett Cooper's on her way out too. Company's down the tubes. Jeremy Boring's fired. Everybody's red-pilled. Everybody's naming them. Everyone is anti-Semitic. Everyone knows what's going on. They know what's up. White people have pride in their race. They're ready to go hardcore. Everyone's locked in. So I'm feeling very good about the direction things are headed and feeling very white-pilled about it. But here is my commission now, okay? Here's the next step. We need to pressure Matt Walsh in particular, but also Michael Knowles to leave the Daily Wire.
Now, a lot of people on the right don't care for Ben Shapiro, including yours truly. I did like him a little bit years ago, but I always thought he had an annoying voice. I think he's full of soy. I think everybody at the Daily Wire is full of soy, with Matt Walsh being mostly a masculine guy. I don't think he's a total coward. I don't think he's a soy boy like Michael Knowles and Clavin and Ben Shapiro or Jeremy Boring, who is not actually a commentator over there. Jeremy Boring is just a businessman. But Matt Walsh is definitely the most valuable asset over there at the moment, simply because he does command a really strong audience. He gets a lot of views still. He did the documentary, What is a Woman, that did really, really well. He's been very, very outspoken against the trans movement. And he has 6 kids and a wife, and his wife is a stay-at-home mom. And I gotta, kind of put myself in Matt Walsh's shoes. And Nick Fuentes is a good bit younger than Matt Walsh. Me and Matt Walsh are almost the same age, basically. Matt Walsh is a husband and a father of 6. So he's got to put his family first. So it's not as easy for him to up and leave the Daily Wire, even though he could. Candace Owens was fired, and she's blew up, and she's the most popular conservative streamer in the world right now, according to the reports. Candace Owens is crushing it. She exploded after she left, and Ben Shapiro is furious about that. He is furious that Candace Owens was not destroyed. Her career did not collapse. Israel criticism and all. She criticized Israel, criticized the war, and still made it. Made it to a level she's never dreamed of being at. But the difference between Candace Owens and Matt Walsh and Michael Knowles is Candace Owens is married to a man named, I think his name is George Farmer. And he comes from British royalty. His dad is a very wealthy man, so therefore he was born into wealth. And, Candace Owens, she could quit podcasting tomorrow and never have to do another episode and be straight for life, because they got 4 kids. She has a baby every other year, it seems like. So shout out to her. Like I said, Matt Walsh, he's the last real asset left. And, he's got a family. So I understand why he hasn't left the Daily Wire. He can make it, but it'll just be a lot more difficult. Moving along to Mr. Michael Knowles. Not a huge fan of Michael Knowles. For those of you that don't know, Michael Knowles, I think he's definitely a soy boy, not a masculine guy. He did a queer role in a movie called House of Shades. Some people have a problem with it. Some people don't. Again, Michael Knowles is married. I don't know if he has any children. If he does, I know he don't have 6 like Matt Walsh. But again, he won't criticize Israel either. Matt Walsh and Michael Knowles will kind of take the approach of saying stuff like, hey, America should be focused on America. They'll say America first, but they won't go further and say, we need to stop sending foreign money to Israel. We need to stop supporting the Israel military campaign in Gaza. They won't say that because they don't have the balls to say it. And like I said, they don't have wealthy spouses like Candace Owens does. And then, of course, the young lady who left not too long ago named Brett Cooper, she's basically what is she, fresh out of high school? She's probably not even 25 years old. So she don't really have anything to lose. These guys got a lot to lose, and they don't want to risk leaving that Daily Wire comfort zone. The Daily Wire makes them comfortable. And then here's, of course, Michael Knowles pictured with a transgender figure who goes by the name of Lady Maga. This is a man. Of course, you can look at this creature and see that it's not a real woman. This is a man cosplaying as a woman named Lady Maga. And this was Michael Knowles back in 2019 taking a picture with Lady MAGA. So he has not come out and said he supports LGBT and gay marriage and all that stuff, but he's just a very effeminate dude, man. I'm not a fan of Michael Knowles as being a masculine guy. I don't consider him masculine. I just don't. You can just look at his mannerisms, and I mean, he's articulate, he's smart, he speaks well, but it's a lot of people that speak well that are, you know, members on the right and articulate and all that good stuff. But I just don't really care for Michael Knowles. I'll listen to his content every blue moon. But like I said, Matt Walsh is the most valuable asset at the Daily Wire at the moment. He's the all-star. Without Matt Walsh, the Daily Wire disappears. It becomes basically just another basic channel, and they wouldn't hardly get the clicks and views they get. Matt Walsh is basically carrying the Daily Wire on his back right now because people have turned on Ben Shapiro so strongly. And then, of course, there's Andrew Klavan. He's a boomer Jew. It's not a whole lot to say about him. If he's not a boomer, he's definitely an older Gen Xer. I haven't even looked up his age. Let me see how old he is real quick, just to double check and see how old he is. I've listened to his content here and there. Don't really care for it. 71 years old. I was correct. So he's a boomer. Nothing special about Andrew Klavan. All the Jewish talking points. We got to protect Israel. If you don't agree, you're an anti-Semite. You're not allowed to ask questions. You're supposed to just toe the line and shut your mouth and give the money and give your support.
You don't get to ask those questions. What's wrong with you, Mom? Why are you so scared?
I am calling for a sustained high-pressure campaign for Matt Walsh and Michael Knowles to leave the Daily Wire. It is time. And here's why. Daily Wire is Israeli-occupied territory. Everybody knows that. It almost doesn't even need to be justified. Candace Owens was fired purely because she said Israel shouldn't genocide Palestinians in Gaza. That's it. Ben Shapiro called her an idiot and said she's a faux sophisticate because of her false equivalency that she draws between Palestinians and Israel, her friendship with Ye. And we know she was fired because she didn't love Israel enough. Shapiro, it's his company. He's the flagship show. He's the founder. Shapiro goes out and says the only reason he loves America is because America loves Israel. The CEO, Jeremy Boring, said Candace had to be let go because being anti-Israel doesn't fit with the politics and the values of the company. That's what they are. That's who they are. It is a Jewish supremacist, Israel first company, just like so many others. Just like Fox News run by Rupert Murdoch, just like Blaze TV run by Glenn Beck, just like PragerU run by Dennis Prager. It is an Israeli asset.
All right, I have one more clip I want to play of Ben Shapiro, and just to show you how desperate he has gotten. Some of you may have already heard about this. This occurred a little while ago, but the Daily Wire is in trouble. I've heard they've done some layoffs. They're just not as credible as they used to be. This civil war, as they like to call it, it's forcing people to pick sides. And I'm going to be doing a separate video very soon about Nick Fuentes' takes on Matt Walsh. And I'm going to do another one with Tucker Carlson and Matt Walsh. I'm sorry, Tucker Carlson and Nick Fuentes. But for those of y'all that are into fitness and cooking and food and travel and all that, I have a non-political channel. Go subscribe to that channel as well if you like my content. It's called The Real King Andre. No spaces, just The Real King Andre. My middle name is Andre. I go by Andre. The Real King Andre on YouTube. And you can follow me on Instagram at that same link. And I haven't uploaded any fitness videos yet. It's just basically cooking and travel so far. But I'm going to be doing some fitness videos and all that good stuff. The Real King Andre. Without further ado, this is the last clip that I'm going to play, just to show you how desperate Ben Shapiro and the Daily Wire has gotten.
If we are issuing pardons, however, there is one person that President Trump should pardon from federal charges forthwith. It would be incredibly controversial, but I think that it's absolutely necessary. That person is Derek Chauvin. President Trump should, in fact, pardon Derek Chauvin. He should. He should pardon him his federal charges. If we are talking about reversing the evils of the last several years in American life, obviously COVID and its handling was a massive evil. Destroyed the economy, set us on a path to fiscal insanity, destroyed children, led to massive health-related cover-ups, just horrifying all the way around. And President Trump has taken on a lot of those things. But when it came to BLM, the inciting event for the BLM riots that caused $2 billion in property damage in the United States and set America's race relations on their worst footing in my lifetime, was in fact the railroading of Derek Chauvin in the death of George Floyd.
Some of y'all may have seen that already, the Pardon Derek Chauvin initiative that Ben Shapiro and the Daily Wire were pushing. This was a while ago, but that's how desperate they are to try to get people's eyes on the Daily Wire, because traffic is down significantly since the departure of Candace Owens. And then the awakening has happened about Israel. Obviously, we know that Derek Chauvin can't be pardoned by Donald Trump because Derek Chauvin was convicted on state charges. And even if Trump was to pardon him, it wouldn't get him out of prison, because a federal pardon doesn't overturn a state conviction. He was sentenced to 20-something, I think 22 years, 22 years. He's obviously not going to serve the whole 22 years, but the state of Minnesota would have to pardon him. Ben Shapiro is so disingenuous. And according to Mark Dice, who's a full-time YouTuber, as many of you know. Mark Dice basically was exposing how it was a ploy to get people to sign the petition and leave their emails, and they would market the Daily Wire content to your email address. So it really wasn't even a genuine move to pardon Derek Chauvin. It was just a way to try to get you to subscribe to the Daily Wire. That's how desperate they are. Ben Shapiro is such a snake and a coward. He wouldn't even debate Candace Owens after she was fired from the Daily Wire. And of course, Candace Owens was under some type of non-disclosure agreement or gag order or something to where she couldn't speak on her termination from the Daily Wire, because obviously she would get sued. So she wouldn't talk about that specifically. But she tried to get a debate with Ben Shapiro, and he cowered down like a punk. He's such a sweet, effeminate. I can't stand that weasel.
Candace Owens was there this year, and during the Q&A portion was asked a very interesting question and had a very interesting answer, let's just say.
After being let go from the Daily Wire and being able to speak firsthand, do you think that the Daily Wire is complicit in censorship of certain people/topics similar to that of left-wing institutions?
I cannot talk about that.
That's what happens when you sign that contract for millions and millions of dollars with a major media company. You sell part of your soul, and then you're never allowed to criticize them ever again. But some people have a difficult time keeping their mouths shut, even when they've been paid very well to do so. And to Candace's credit, she mentioned this very strange situation.
The last thing that I am going to say, strangely, this is such a crazy story, but as I was headed in here, I got a frantic call from somebody. They called me and they said, Candace, something very weird is happening. The Daily Wire has sent somebody secretly to record you, an intern, a PR intern, to secretly record you, to catch you in a bad moment, in a bad light. Apparently, she got an email at 10 p.m., hopped on a plane, is pretending to be a student. And so I do just want to say to Ben Shapiro,
Come on, let it out.
enough. Come out into the light. Really, come on. Let's do this debate. Stop sending interns to do your dirty work.
Wow. Listen to that cheer.
And that right there, ladies and gentlemen, is a prime example of what I'm talking about. I told you I had receipts on deck. You know, when she got fired, she was at some event, some TPUSA women's event, and they tried to send somebody to spy on her to make sure she didn't say anything that would be in violation of the non-disclosure agreement or whatever type of clause that they had on her firing. And hey, man, that's who Ben Shapiro is. And look at the ramifications of how they moved. Candace Owens blew up. Nick Fuentes is arguably one of the most canceled men on the planet. And he won because Rumble gave him a platform. X gave him a platform. And if there's a will, there is a way. The truth is undefeated. The truth is undeniable. And like I said, I don't agree with everything Candace Owens or Nick Fuentes says or does. But, hey, man, look at how successful they've become despite the odds stacked against them. And with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, thank y'all for watching. If you stayed for the whole video, extra thanks for you. Subscribe, like, comment, let me know what y'all think. Salute. I'll catch up on the next one. Peace.